Right, please go.
A very pleasant, soothing evening to all our beautiful and wonderful audience. I sincerely welcome all the leaders, graceful ladies, benevolent gentlemen, renowned teachers, and our esteemed Sir, Mr. Sushobit Kamra, sir. I'm privileged to welcome to 26th session of EduFarm International Academy, led by Lead House, organized by one and only Dr. Halima Sadia ma'am. So before starting the session, let me give a brief introduction of our renowned guest. Oh, okay, sorry. He is an experienced senior army officer with a demonstrated history of working as a technocrat with management and teamwork handling skills. He is a qualified independent director with finance management skills. He's a strong professional experience in HR management and interpersonal skills. He is possessed with beautiful, outstanding traits like mentoring, IT, qualitative skills, operation management. He is graduated from esteemed university, which is situated in Hyderabad, JNTU University, and went ahead to acquire 4 post-graduations, followed which is a myriad of experience in varying domains. Thank you, sir, for giving out your gracious time. Please, you may start with your valuable words. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Fatmaji. Appreciate your words of, appreciate what you welcome me on. So, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's my privilege today to launch you all. And as you know, the luck can have it, I am almost going to have around 38, 39 years of experience very soon. And that is in corporate also, and before that in uniform. So varied experiences, yes, definitely. And one of the things which has always been, tickling our mind is leadership. How do we behave as leaders? And that is what Dr. Halima's aim is, that she wants to make out those 1,000 leaders. And in that mission of hers, so I am also here today to let me try and, share something with you all. Okay. So the topic given to us today evening is authentic leadership. So this topic is not, very, very commonly known, this thing. When you call leadership, nobody says about authentic leadership. So today we are going to understand through a presentation, which I'm going to share with you all. So, just to, tell you all that if there is any question which is there, I don't mind. Let it be a participative affair. And that is how the evening can go through. Okay. So I'm just sharing my screen. Just help me, somebody to tell me that, is my screen visible to you all?
Yes, sir, it's visible.
Okay. Okay. So I'm going full screen. I'm trying to see if full screen works. Yeah. Tell me if it is changing.
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So, authenticity. So, this is often, as I have read it there, that, this is often a neglected term. But the values which today we will try and understand through this presentation, there are too many things which are there associated with authentic leadership. Coming forward with authenticity, let me ask you all, what do you understand by authenticity? Can somebody help me?
Sir, being
reality.
To be genuine.
To be genuine, okay. Right, very close, yeah. It is almost right. Yes, somebody else? Anything else?
To be original, free from all plagiarism and copying, imitating others.
Yeah, that is,
synthetic.
Yeah.
Truthful.
Yeah. Yes, that is also a trait there. Yes. Sanaji, you were saying something?
Transparent.
Transparent. Okay, right. So yes, I think you are almost all there. But today we're still, having all this knowledge in our background, we will still try to cover some more gaps, which would be there, perhaps a knowledge of each one of us. So when you hear of this word, as you all said, it is original, right? It is not plagiarism. The plagiarism word basically is used when we are writing something. But when we are as leaders, it is something which is coming right from the right source. Okay, so it is how it is. And there are certain things which you can see. All these words are used: trust or something which has a value, right? The source is very very important. You need to underline the point that, like in the chain of command, in any organization, there's a complete chain of command is always there, but the right orders must reach the right person down below for whom it is intended, right? So the source has to be right. You have to pardon me today because there is something outside the society going on. I think you may be, overhearing some music. Is it disturbing us, or we can continue? It's comfortable.
It's comfortable.
And
Achha,
no sound is audible to us.
yeah, it is some DJ playing, and they always play very large. They'll not allow us to be peaceful. No? Okay, it'll stop also on its own sometime in between. Okay, so moving forward, authenticity is something which will help you all to succeed much better than being a person who is not authentic in his approach. There are more things, as I said, we will learn about it. Okay, when authenticity and leadership have to be combined, there are certain things which we have to take care, right? So when it comes to leadership, authentic has rather a wider meaning. It means that a person whom you are giving this thing is in the right chain of command. This was also a point which I brought out slightly earlier also in my previous slide, right? So it only highlights the right source of the information, which I was just talking. Authenticity was also defined by somebody, which you can see. It says it gives us freedom to be ourselves and comfortable with who we are, and also gives us access of connecting with the other people in a genuine way. Genuine is the highlighting word, which some of you had also tried to talk about authenticity. So we are generally coming on the similar thought process. Now let us go ahead. There was an experiment conducted. This authentic leadership term was not very, very old, to be frank here. This is just evolved in a very recent past, and nobody wanted the leadership to have any things like authentic leadership or something like that. It was not important to be leaders. Leaders are leaders, and they can the way they can be. Okay, so they have been doing it over the past many years or hundreds of years. They've been trying to since the King's ages. जो भी उनका सिस्टम था वो था ठीक है तो there was an experiment carried out with 125 professionals by one of the person called George. So in that experiment, they have got various leaders were there, and they had worked on this experiment to understand that what is it which is the need of the time. So the Bill George was his name. He was from Harvard Business School professor, and he had tried to do this. Okay. So in this experiment, he had taken these 125 business leaders, as I was talking, and these all people belong to different races, religions, nationalities, socioeconomic backgrounds. And he wanted to come to a point that how leaders become and how do they remain authentic. He was one of the first ones who said that authenticity should be there. Okay. So their interviews, one of the things which had come out was that you do not have to be born as a leader, but there are characteristics which can be created inside the leaders to help them become authentic. Coming forward, you do not have to be at the top of the organization. You can be anywhere. You can be anywhere in the middle rung. Of course, not the lower rung, I'll say, because then the leadership word is not there. The middle people do have that leading requirement. So they do not have to be in the top of the organization. This was the second finding which Bill George had found out, that anyone can be basically taking the role of an authentic leader, right? So moving ahead, the journey began with their life stories. authentic story. One of the things in this experiment was that leaders, the authentic leaders, they try to communicate themselves very well and they frame their stories. They allow themselves to be not as passive this thing. They also try to lead. They want to, they're not, one of those who just remains behind the scene. They try to come forward as much as possible and they try to make use of their experiences to try and have the environment healing from their, the mind frame whichever they have. Okay. So these certain things I'll not be reading on the slides. I left some matter on my slides. I was thinking it can become, too much of text oriented, but nevertheless, I've left some things for you to read by yourself as well. Okay. So the findings were there that achieving business results over a sustained period is the ultimate mark of authentic leadership, right? And they can derive the short-term outcomes without being authentic, but leadership is the only way to carry out long-term this thing. So that means that if you have to be long-term successful, like if you reflect yourself, the great companies which were there, the great leaders which are there today, we want to say, okay, Tata is one group which has got that value system also along with the leadership system. So we know that they have carried on for years. Today, morning I was sitting with somebody who's handling, in the stock markets and all. So he was saying something. He said, I do not want to associate with somebody who's just come to the world last 4 years and try to give my money onto him. So I would like to think that, as much as is my age, if I'm 35, so I must think कि 35 years old company तक मैं investment करूं. I don't know the very good logic which is there, but that is what his logic कि मैं चले आपके आगे अगर 50 साल है, तो 50 years old should be, you can opt for those companies which have been in existence. So the long-term creation of this, it is not easy to create this thing. एक तो हमें अपने लीडरशिप के लिए अपनी पोजीशन क्रिएट करनी है, दूसरा उसको बहुत सालों तक मेंटेन करके जो रखना है. आप देखिए, it is through all these tops and lows which are there in any system. There is no system which is free of any dip and a peak curve. But out of all that, these people who are authentic leaders have been persistently performing. So that was also one of the results here, that authentic leadership is the only way to create long-term results. If you are just trying to make a company for a short time, if you are doing a job for a short time, और आप थोड़े टाइम करके आप निकल जाओगे, तो फिर आपकी जो your length of this thing. Dr. Alima, can I continue with mixed Hindi and English, or is it English only? Just help me, any one of you.
Sir, I guess it should be English because we have people from various parts of the world. So.
Yes, right. Yeah, right. Thanks for correcting me, because I realized I went off also. So no problems. So you can only achieve short-term results, or you can sustain for a shorter time only, and that is what I was saying. Okay, moving forward now. So why this term came in basically? देखिए leaders तो हमेशा से थे. ठीक है, leaders हमेशा से थे. So before you again have to have the glimpse of the next slide, let me understand from you. There was traditional leadership, as I was saying. Leaders were always there, and the authenticity came in very recently, right? So what is the difference, as per you, as anyone, which is there between the traditional leadership and an authentic leader? Can somebody help me? Traditional versus authentic. Yeah.
Traditional leaders tend to follow the old setup, which might become very routine for the people down the line. And the authentic ones can bring up a freshness, which will attract the people down the line, and they want to see more, learn more, and trust more, where they know they'll be surprised because they don't know what's coming up next. So it'll excite them and keep them in the process.
Okay, so you're talking that something what Sadia ji is telling is that जो rudimentary and old time school जो था, that those practices are no more applicable now, and it is the new things, the new generation and the new times. The new practices have come in with the new times, right? So anybody else? Anybody else would like to say what is the difference between the traditional? Okay, so I'll move ahead. Okay, So these are some things which are listed over the various places, right? So traditionally, the leaders wanted to do everything which was goal oriented. Okay. So there was something called MBO. MBO, somebody who's done masters in management or something would have.
Management by objectives.
Yes,
Yes,
thank you,
management
Sadia.
by objectives.
Yes. Thank you, Sadia. Thank you, Fatma. So, these were goals which were supposed to be were given by the top management, and they said, okay, you have to achieve these. Okay. Now you see the quality difference which is coming in. Your own mind will tell you when I say lead with purpose is different. If you try to analyze that there is a purpose behind the existence. So what happens is that today, like I have taken some corporate lectures, which is called on safety, industrial safety and manufacturing safety. So there we took a subject called behavior-based safety. So earlier on, the traditional this thing was that the top management will drive a system. They will make a manufacturing company. They will make all the safety systems. They will make all the rules and SOPs. So they will tell you, okay, go and work now. The factory is ready. The manufacturing setup is ready. Please come and work. This was the thing, and they will also give you the targets and the goals. So they have entirely designed the system. But here, behavior-based safety, when BBS came in, the change was that the lowest person was making the system. The lowest person was involved in the formulation of the system, of the SOP of the system. So don't you see that there is a change? BBS was not a term known in the industry. It is not today also not very, very popularly known term between the industries also. They are still evolving. Many people are not aware what is BBS. Okay, even the management teams are not talking much about BBS. But behavior-based safety is now assuming a lot of things, and good companies are taking all the stakeholders into the whole system, right? Now, the second point in the orange line is lead with values and principles versus lead with selfish agenda. So you can imagine that if a person or the owner of the business or the company or a school owner or any other entrepreneur, if he has only a selfish agenda in today's life, at least my thinking is that he cannot sustain long. So as there was something called that authentic leaders can sustain long, and the selfish agenda people will be sooner or later getting exposed. But values and principles are going to stay. That is where I gave the examples of Tata's also, and companies which have sustained over 50, 70, 80, 100 years plus now. Tata's are 100 years plus group. Okay. They lead with heart and lead with ego. Okay. These are some other differences which are there. Leading by cultivating a long-term relationship and accumulating transactions. Okay. Here you are only accumulating, give and take. The day to day you are doing something, and you are just accumulating your, routine engagement is there only. But you are not bothered about a relationship. There is no relationship between you and your juniors, for that matter, the chain of command under you. But when you have to create a relationship, then the things are not managed like that. Okay. Then last is the leading by demonstrating excellence through self-discipline. Today, the juniors are very well educated because of website and many other things which have come in Google and things like that. I need not tell my son what is required to be done. Rather, he is my teacher many a times. Who's around 30 years younger to me also is my teacher, right? So he has got all those things. So I have to demonstrate if I have to be leading him or I have to be leading any employee in my company, then I must also have a self-discipline. The old days, it was that you can do when you can come in the office when you want. For you, the rules are not there. It is only for the people, others that the rules are there. But imagine if the leader himself makes sure that he comes. He did not tell others that do not you were supposed to be or something. So everything else will fall in place automatically, right? So these are some of the changes which have taken place with authentic leadership. So any questions or maybe move ahead?
Sir, you can move ahead because at the end we have
Yes.
room, to
Yeah, thank you. Okay.
questions. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So moving ahead on this here, why is authenticity important? We have partly understood some of this text which is there. Okay. So, but let us understand in some other words which are mentioned here, which have not come to our mind till now. See, somebody said very nicely that truthfulness, okay, truthfulness, being true to yourself, what all it will result in. It will result in all the things which are there, second line downwards, higher self-esteem, positive effect, and hope for the future. Because once the system is being led by an authentic leader, the juniors have a hope that this system is going to thrive and survive for a longer time. Okay. And then there is desire for positive relationships, relationship building, as we just saw in the previous slide. There's a purpose, of course, right? So these are some of the things. And as Jeff Skilling had said, that it will lead and positive impact on organizational behavior. OB is a subject. Organizational behavior is a subject which is being taught in BBAs and MBAs also. This is one of the challenge which HR has. This is one of the challenge which all the team leaders which are there at various level has. How to control or motivate the people, or making them organizational behavior has to be changed. Changing the OB behavior is one of the biggest tasks. If a new person goes to an organization and if he finds the things are not in the right place and he wants to do the change, so organization changes are not there. But if he has adopted the method of being an authentic leader, his path ahead will become very, very easy. He can easily lead a positive impact and can show them that, that here is a person who wants to see well-being of everybody, including the system. Okay. So authenticity is obviously going to help the organization. Then one important point is that if a person is wholehearted, he is not selfish. So he will bring his whole self to the commitment. It is not a partial commitment which is there. An authentic leader, if you can see behind his mind, you will also realize that these are the people who become authentic leaders are not just performers. There is a difference between a routine performer but bringing their whole selves. So these are the people who actually try to give something more to the organization. They give their whole selves. When they lead with their whole self, the quality of output is also going to be better. Okay. So there is, with all these background which we understand till now, so there are some characteristics also which were listed. There are almost 7-8 characteristics which are there. So you can, we can discuss on any point which are there. I think these are all self-explanatory. Mission driven is one thing which we've not discussed today before, So end result is, sorry, end result is that there is always a mission in their mind. And that is an important characteristic of trait of a authentic leader, right? Okay. So next, you have more heart than talent, means you put your whole self and things like that. So these are some of the qualities which in life can help you perform better and help you achieve those results which are, just not getting achieved perhaps if you are already at the top of your leadership ladder, or you find some difficulty in managing your teams, or you've joined a new organization also, and you want to say that you will like to sustain yourself. So then also you will be able to benefit if you try to follow some of these or all of these. Okay. So for making yourself an authentic leader, you need to have, beside those qualities which were listed, you have to have certain traits also. Okay. So there are 5 marks as the literature suggested, and I was doing some research for today evening's lecture. I thought I'll include this also. So these are some things, that authentic leaders have a better ability to have insight into the system. They can, sense better, or they will like to, and that will happen automatically when you involve yourself more. And then you can, you can have the proper insight, and that gives you an opportunity for creating a vision for yourself. So without a vision to your team, you cannot lead also, right? You have to give them the vision. You have to demonstrate the initiative. Then you have to also exert influence. I don't say that be so democratic that your influence is also missed. No, you have to have a strike the right balance. You cannot be taken for granted also in the system. Your position must be amply clear that this is what is, yes, your communication method. We'll be talking about what is communication and authentic leadership towards the later this thing in the presentation today. But your influence should always be clear. You should be always be able to assert your position, whatsoever it is. Wheresoever in the hierarchy you are, they should follow your chain and this thing. But your methodology gets changed when you also get the traits of authentic leader in you. Then other things are have the impact on because of your actions, and integrity. That integrity also goes back to the truthfulness. So unless and until you do not have self integrity, unless and until the people see you, and people can easily make through, their juniors can easily make through. They may not talk to you directly, or may not come and tell you, you have something which is not, you're not doing your work properly or something like that. But your integrity will always be identified by your juniors and by your seniors. So in my work experience of more than those 37, 38 years, one thing which I wanted to work is, about 25, 30 years back, I had said this line that I will not work for my seniors, but I will work for my juniors because I am getting observed. So this when I told my seniors, I said, when a senior officer comes, when a VIP comes, I said there are hundreds of people who are always going to be looking after him. But I will like to also keep in my mind, back of my mind, front of my mind, that I am also supposed to work or keep in mind the team which I command, the men whom I command, the aim of my command. All these things I have to always keep of my mind. I have made certain things for my own self that I will, do my work in a particular manner. And I must always keep that in mind that, I am also getting watched by my juniors. I am more worried. I always used to be more worried that my juniors are also my observers. Okay. So these are some things, these three factors are there: vision, values, and involvement. So all these three, vision, values and involvement, they will in the end give you higher performance. So these are also authentic leadership factors which are there. when you are authentic, these are the results which automatically come in. Okay. I'm leaving the slide for a moment. You can read. Okay, so moving ahead, there are some drivers of authenticity. Now, in our lives, we've got three beneficiaries. Okay, one is our customer. Second is the society outcomes, because whatsoever the existence of the organization is, one aim of the business is, or the company or the school or the educational institute is manage its customers. Customer can be the students, customer can be the people who buy things from you, customer can be somebody else who's taking your services, right? So you need to have all these three things. Then the second circle comes is society. So by your actions, you are also influencing something. When you the workers which are associated to you, it is not just the workers, it is also their families, it is also the extended circle which is getting affected, plus your own actions are also having direct actions, results or implication on the society. So there is something called society outcomes. And third authentic driver is the management behavior. So the management behavior, in fact, has the resulting effect on other two, customers also and the society also, right? So the customers get a better value, customer care is there, innovation is there to serve their needs, which are better. In a similar way, the society could have the other three things, which are there, like employee care, community impact, and care of environment. So these are also some things, when you care for your environment for that matter. So there is always this thing that this is going to result in society outcome, right? Then next thing is the management behavior comes is that management should be doing consistently credible communication and being always right. Try to do always right. You could be wrong also, but you have to do that. Attempt at least that, right? So I told you something about authentic communication. Fatma, how much time do we have? Sorry, I can't. You're on mute.
So sorry. So we have 5 to 10 minutes. You can tell. We can cut short our questions.
Okay.
So you
Okay.
can
So
take
I
time.
I'll then go accordingly, right? Okay.
Yes, sir, yes, sir.
Can you cover this? Like to cover
Please, yes, sir.
communication authentically, communicate authentically. So in this whole thing, what is coming out is actually the impact of communication. How are you identified as a true person, as an honest person, as a person with integrity, as a person with vision, as a person with genuineness? How do you get identified when you reach or you put your foot in an organization? It is because of what all? Can somebody share with me?
So the
Sir,
word,
truthfulness,
Sorry?
truthfulness,
Truthfulness, okay. Okay.
one who talks on the basis of authentic reports or some genuine noted points.
Yeah, very right. So Sanaji said talks. Talks is what the slide is showing. Communicate. Right. So the whole thing will boil down that your vision, your management approach, all these 9 qualities which were there in that previous circle, that triangle and the pyramid which was there, those qualities, 6, 7 qualities of a genuine leader and all those things are going to be identified by the method about how you communicate. If your communication involves that authenticity, if you communicate authentically, then and then only you will be able to demonstrate the qualities and achieve those results which we were trying to discuss about in my previous slides. Okay, so I have got something to share with you. Yeah, authenticity is the basically you're connecting between the what you are saying, how you are saying, and what you believe. You cannot be 3 people. That line in red, which I have specially highlighted, is because I want to say that you cannot be 3 persons. The connection between what you are saying and what you believe, what you do, all this has to be in the sync. How you say, what you believe, and what you do. Okay, everything has to be in the sync. Okay, otherwise you will not have the correct connection between yourself and your team which you are leading. Right. So there are some things which you can which are also called tips of this thing. So you have to actually work very importantly the people. So one of the tip is that you have to tell stories. You have often heard that people who are able to relate and talk about their lives or their this thing. So always try to identify who's your target audience. Whom are you today going to talk to? Who's that group in the school? Who's that group in the company whom you have to actually handle? So if you are able to attach with them, if you are able to this thing, there are people who talk about this thing, like even in this some TV shows, they come and they say this thing, about their backgrounds. They say, I come from a very, very simple background. We were a middle-aged people and we had no resources. So what is happening is he's automatically getting connected to those lakh of people who are watching that show on the TV. Likewise, in the organization also, if you are able to tell them that you are also one of those them only, and you just happen to be at the position of authority or command. This is one method where the people realize, okay, this person can think about us better. Even our prime minister, present prime minister, he happens to come from a background where the people, he was not born with a silver spoon after all. So he has risen to this position. So there are many people who want to, respect him world over for that matter, right? That is one quality. which helps you connect with the larger group which you are trying to lead. Okay. So you should always be able to tell the stories. The second is you must be able to communicate your message very, very clearly. You should have your thoughts. Now, if some of you have heard those good speakers or your good political leaders and many other things, so there are people who just want to sit down and listen to them because their method of communication was such that they could impact your mind and you will stop by. You might even delay your other works, but you will like to listen to that person because his clarity of thought is there, his vision was there, and he could also connect with you. Right? Every conversation and the question which he does was some an opportunity to share some ideas, vision, values, and honesty, values with honesty. But if you're talking about values only, and if there is no honesty, so then also it is half-hearted thing. It is not a full done job, right? The authenticity is also something which you see, when you what you can feel also. Authenticity is just the recipient of an authentic command does not only receive the order, but he can also feel the order. He can sense what is behind the message. He can sense what is expected of him and what source it is coming from. So the credibility of the source, the truthfulness and the genuineness, the things which we were talking about, is very, very important. If you can hit the people with these qualities and these traits, you are going to be a better administrator, you are going to be a better leader than many others. The TEDx talks, I brought in this example, this is a great resource. I'm sure everybody's gone through and heard some of those TEDx talks. So some of the things which the TEDx people have is one of the things is connecting the people with stories and emotions. If you have to be tomorrow, one of you has to be going as a TEDx speaker, this is one thing you will need to master. And one thing is the art of storytelling, and as well as connecting with the people in a manner that you are held back. Most of the TEDx talks, I have seen that they communicate some message and they hold you for a while. Am I right? Somebody can this thing. Do you enjoy listening to some of the?
Totally, sir, 100%.
है ना?
Yes,
तो
sir.
उसमें उसमें ये सारे ingredients है. उसमें ये सारे ingredients, all the ingredients are there. Sorry, all the ingredients are there for them. There's a clarity of message. There's a vision in how they want to connect with the audience, and what they want to give it to the audience. So the audience is also identified here, and the need of the hour is also known, and they conduct emotionally, right? So I have some tips before we end the evening today for helping people become, authentic leader. Tip is you should know your own value systems. The introspection. Tip one is you should have to be ability to introspect. You should know what is your value system. If you fall low on something, and if your own conscious tells you, please do improve upon it and try to work on it. Otherwise, it is not, you do not have that quality and you just want to impose or give it as an order, you will not succeed. Something which comes from your value system is always going to see better results. Okay. Then get clear on your intentions, objectives. That is a second tip for the communication. We are talking of communication only, and we understood why the communication was important for authentic leadership, right? So you have to be clear on your intention and objectives. Then speak with emotion. I covered this point slightly just a while before. So if you are not covering something from down your mind and heart, so two things have to be involved, your mind and your heart. Both have to speak. Okay. So emotionally also, if you are connected, you will be genuinely able to work better. Can I request for muting? Okay. So authentic delivery is, again, the method of communication. It is not just your thoughts who are going to work. It is the method of delivery also, which is going to make it authentic. And last step, which Fatma, can you help out? Okay. Know
Mr.
your
Madhinath,
audience.
can you please mute? Madhinath ma'am, can you please mute yourself?
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, so these are the 5 things. I had got some more slides also, but I have kept them hidden, keeping the time in mind. Okay, so there is some takeaways for authentic communication. So part of this has been covered. Okay, so I'm just not deliberating upon this. So add some spice, as I said, use anecdotes and personal stories or even humor. Humor will also help you, connect better. So in the end, I just want to be, closing the today's talk by some of the things, okay, which I found this beautiful flower is communicating again, right? As a summary, I have these. So remember that in life, you are always going to encounter the problems and you will always commit mistakes. This saying, which I'm ending in my last slide, is what I came across yesterday itself, and I somehow decided to keep it in the presentation. It came as a WhatsApp message to me. But then, when you fall and get hurt, everything is a learning. But what you need to understand is that you should be able to rise again. We have to keep growing, we have to keep learning. But after all, it is our life, and how we want to live it is our decision, right? So I end today evening's this thing, and I'm open, friends, for any sharing which is there from your side.
Thank you, sir. So indeed, it has been an authentic presentation and delivery, sir. Thank you, sir, for explaining it so well as in a lucid way. Now I would like to invite our team leaders to put their questions forward. In fact, we will have an honorable colonel, sir, to encounter questions. Please
No,
feel
no, no
free
problem.
to
Yeah.
shoot out your questions.
Yeah, good evening, Fatma. May I
Sure,
start?
sure, ma'am.
Your
Please.
kind consent. Yeah, Fatma, thank you so much. You have been doing excellent.
Thank
Good evening, sir. Colonel Shobit, sir.
Yes.
Sushobit Kamra, sir. I am really happy and sorry I joined a bit late because for tomorrow's preparations in the school I was a bit busy because I had tomorrow I have to deliver a presentation on experiential learning, so that I was doing. So thank you for reminding me to join. Then immediately I remembered, yes, I have to join a class. And the
No
slide
problem.
that I have
Welcome.
joined, yeah, the slide that I have joined till the end, it was really, really touching. Each incident is touching my story, my own story. I have a
Okay.
question to ask you without going into detail. Like you
Yeah.
are constantly telling a very honest and universal fact or the global fact. We are nowadays in the world, VUCA world, volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. And in that circumstances, what you said 3 times, I have observed you said, since the time I have joined, that I have to be more careful about my juniors because they are observing me than seniors. And yesterday in the staff room, I told my seniors and juniors, I am that exclusive edition of generation who feared with senior, respecting them, now fearing with the juniors unnecessarily because they are trying to dominate. Sir, here I would like to have a clarification from you. Undoubtedly, juniors are learning. Juniors are smarter in terms of technology. But do you feel only that is the technology that matters, not the concrete experience the seniors have gained through the ages? So no doubt juniors are learning, they should learn and they should set the boundaries. And many a times the juniors, they form a lobby and they overcome the seniors by predominating, and they will try to let them go down and this is really a very, very toxic kind of atmosphere develops when this happens. What I'm trying to say, how a senior can show them their true boundaries, saying that maybe you're intelligent, but a senior is more intelligent with his crystallized intelligence. Maybe you're also intelligent, maybe you're also technologically fit, but you have to be technologically advanced because you are from this era. And we were definitely doing well when we were in our era, and still, by being in the past, by being the millennial, we are doing well in this generation. So crystallized intelligence is always more important than fluid intelligence, because
Yes.
the people with the crystallized intelligence will have a concrete experience. They know where to put the nail in the wall, and they know what hit to be done to insert in the wall. This juniors cannot do. So just tell me, what are the techniques that we have to adopt to let the juniors know their boundaries?
Ma'am, firstly, they have to actually be kept at their place. Firstly, I'll say that. Okay. Now, keeping at their place is not something which you can just achieve by assertive method. Okay. You will have to participate. You will have to brainstorm. One method is, involving them in this thing. So, one method which you can take on is that, you have brainstorm sessions whenever the problem was encountered by you. Somebody said something which was not crystallized. I'll also quote here, my son, whom I also said earlier, that there are things which today I learned from him. He's 22 years old. And I feel that he has done all those things which even the MBA person has. He's got that knowledge also somewhere. But his knowledge is not systematized. He has not achieved it through a process of managing the people. He's not managed the systems till now. He's still in the studies. He has not encountered those things. He's only come to know some things which are better off today because of the environment, as you have also said. But the value systems are not there. So you have to correct them. So what you need to do is you have to take them on sessions like brainstorming sessions, like other things. You have to encourage. Firstly, today, if we try to snub, nobody listens to us, whether in our family or our this thing. If I just tell them that, I am the leader, I am the principal, I am the director, I am the vice president, you just got to listen because of my authority. Authority power will remain with you till some extent, but you will not be, able to be a very sustainable approach will not be there. You will not be able to achieve results with today's generation because whatever you tell them, they will tell you that, no, we are already aware about this. We have better understanding. So it needs to be given some exercises to be given. You can develop some exercises. One thing I suggest is brainstorming. Second is giving them some exercises, some assignments which can turn their thoughts and they will themselves realize their mistakes through those exercises. You can give them some case studies. You can communicate, give them a lecture or conduct this thing, where they see the value systems were different or the systems which were followed in that thing. You can show them a movie, you can show them some other document. You can also have a talk on some of the book which talks about the value systems. The importance of the systems must be hit now and again. So all these methodologies which I've said, 4, 5, 6 of them, you can take them and you can keep repeating one after the other into the system, because they must understand that entire value system cannot be, just by they can be learning everything from the Google or from the technology. They have to have respect for those people. So you can have, for respect, you can have sessions conducted through some other methodologies. You will have to work little innovatively here and try to show them, some people are trying to, there is a position, there's a person in position, and there are some this thing. So you will have to conduct an exercise how the people have to behave in front of a person holding some position. So different enactments, even some what you call some skits or some dramas or some enactments. These can be various things which I could think of, Dr. Asha. I think have I answered partially your question, because it could take a longer this thing otherwise.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much, sir. I have understood that we have to become a participative leader rather than
Yes.
being sitting on a chair and
Yes.
commanding them.
Yeah.
We have to be a participative leader, and
Yes.
we have to be with them, and we have to show our love and affection also, that we care for them, and we are trying to make them elevate to a still higher position for which they need our training. So we have to give them this kind of indications. That's what
Yeah.
I have understood. Thank
Yeah.
you so
So
much.
since you're an academician, as I understand, so you have to identify the right age. You have to
Yes.
involve the value system. A child of fourth grade or fifth grade or sixth grade could be that potential, this thing, who understands the things. From that level, if the value system start this thing, in the curriculum, something is added, in the routine act, something is added. In some, the teachers also talk in small examples in their daily dealings and something like that. It keeps hitting that mind, and then they get prepared, and then they are given the exercise that, okay, you have to deliver this. You create an exercise for them, you tell them to make a skit on something. So all those things, right? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Welcome, ma'am. Yeah. Yeah, anything?
Yes, good evening, sir. It was, sir, your presentation is so, mashallah, in-depth knowledge and expertise on whatever you experience you shared with us. I found this contents to be both engaging and thought-provoking, alhamdulillah.
Thank
So
you.
it's my sincere gratitude for your insightful presentation, what you delivered on authenticity. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Sajdaji. Thank you. I see you are an engineer yourself.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, that's great. I am also an engineer by my blood. Yeah. So
Which department? Which
I'm mechanical. I did my BTech in mechanical, and some of the first this thing was there with me, and then later on I was lucky to do my masters from IIT Bombay. If you know about the
Wow,
IIT.
nice.
Okay. So I did that. So operations research and industrial engineering was my field, and I'm a man of Six Sigma also. I have done the first
Wonderful,
Sigma in my organization.
wonderful, sir. So just right now I'm just electrical engineer and I'm an assistant professor in Maulana Azad National Urdu University, Cuttack campus, in Cuttack campus.
Okay, ma'am. Great.
Thank you, sir. Yes.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, yeah. Right.
Hello, sir.
Hello, Dr. Nara.
Yeah, thank you very much for the session. The session was wonderful. I have a question that there are some people that they don't want to share their own story, but they share the leaders. They share stories in their speeches, uh, other stories, other stories. Is there any difference in influence to people that in storytelling
Okay.
their own story? Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So basically, if I understand correctly, it is, telling your own experiences or your own, life experiences or your own stories vis-a-vis using the other people's stories. Is it that is a difference? Okay. So you see, the quality of authentic leader is that he will try and use his own. Because one thing is that the one he has used his own has not been pre-shared. It is not available perhaps on any text, on any Google, on any this thing. Secondly, the experiences or the learnings which are there when you share a personal experience, the outcome of those learnings, you can relate better because there is nobody else who could have resonated with the situation. Like in our team, Dr. Halima knows, we have a lady who is a speaker and she is a tsunami survivor. Now, can I claim to say a story of a tsunami survivor vis-a-vis Ananya, who's herself a tsunami survivor? I am only going to narrate from her behalf. So my message can never go with completeness of the experience, of the values, of my thought processes. It will never be complete. Using anecdotes or the stories of others can help you in some situations, but as much as the quality will improve by using your own experiences, they are going to have better results. So you should always encourage using your own, and even your team, you should encourage to try and think about something which has happened in their own life, and if they can relate, you know, or otherwise they can use the opportunity. When they create a movie, they said that the names have been changed for privacy purposes. So you can also encourage that, here if they want to change that, but they should have authority on that, they can do that. But still, really better if they share by their own self only, right?
Yeah, thank you very much.
No, ma'am, no problem. Welcome, ma'am.
Hello, sir. Good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you for this session, first of all. And I would like to add one more question. This
Yeah,
is,
please.
as you explained, that there is a difference between authenticity and the traditional method of leading the company or leading any organization. So my question is, sir, that in our life we witness or we encounter diverse people in our life. Some
Yes.
are different, some diverse leader we also meet. So is it the need of an organization that make a leader to lead in authentic way or lead in a traditional way? And my question is that what is, in your opinion, is more convenient or more fruitful to lead a company or an organization as an authentic way or as an traditional way, as the traditional way?
Okay. So before I come out, thank you, Sanaji. Can I know what is your role or present in your present this thing? What are you doing?
Sir, I am a teacher.
Okay, yeah, thank you. So I want to throw this question to the house. I can answer it right away. But today, after having gone through my presentation and our engagement of the evening, let me have somebody else coming up and saying. So can I request anyone who wants to speak about Sana ma'am's question, answer her question?
Fatma, can I, or anybody wants to?
Yes, Aisha
Sure,
ma'am.
ma'am. Sure, ma'am.
Let me take the permission from my host. She's the one who can
Okay.
give us the green signal. My host, are you willing?
Yes, ma'am. Totally, totally.
Okay.
Other people, you have a question or should I?
Yes, please.
Yeah. So, Sana, please come back again with the question.
Actually, my question was that sometimes it is the need of an organization that a leader has to perform in an authentic way or in the traditional way. So, in your opinion, what is the correct way to lead? It's whether it is authenticity or the traditional way.
Yes. So, thank you so much for the question, and thank you, Colonel Sushobit Kamra sir, for giving me an opportunity, and you have kept the floor open, and you have practically you have done what you said before, that give the juniors that case study and ask them to answer what you said just before, and you respected and showed reflected the value. Thank you so much for giving me an opportunity, as I feel I am definitely junior to you in front of your concrete experience. Now, coming back to Sana's question, yeah, my dear Sana, we have been learning in the leadership challenges also that how the technology has evolved and how the people are becoming so fast in adopting different modes. Now we are in the age of artificial intelligence and machine learning. So there is undoubtedly a great need. It is inevitable to show definitely authenticity in the leadership. If you show authenticity in the leadership in one of the slides we have seen, you can elevate your organization to the next higher level. And if you become a traditional leader, then your school is just on a routine basis. The people will say, yes, there is a school and it is running, right? And if you become authentic leader, and that authentic leader will have reflections right from the vice principal. For example, in a school ecosystem, if a principal is an authentic leader, his reflections and the vibes in the ripple tank will move from him to the vice principal, then to the supervisors, then to the head teachers, then teachers. Even it will reflect to the security guard of that school and canteen owner even. Because when you meet the leader, you will get the reflections and you will act accordingly and try to synchronize with him or her. So if you want your school to be excellent, exceptional, and to stand out in front of all other schools, and if you want to make an epitome of the quality education, undoubtedly, I believe authenticity in leadership is very important than the traditional leadership. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Aisha. I think you've not left my this requirement of answering the question. Thank you for covering it so well. And my take also, Sana, is that, authentic is a step ahead. It's a quality ahead. It's a result ahead. It is a vision ahead. Okay. So when everything is taking some system ahead, why to go with traditional things? I have brought the slide again because traditional people were leading with selfish agendas. Traditional people were having egos also. Now today it is not that. So when
traditional way will not work anymore.
Traditional way is becoming difficult to work. When the Industrial Revolution was there in the 1920s and 1915s, when the French Revolution came in, when the Industrial Revolution came in, and all those times, today even the soldier doesn't listen. All the methods of communication have changed in all the systems. That time, people had no other agenda but just to listen and just come home. Those Industrial Revolution times have gone. Those kingdoms and those princely times have also gone. So, you cannot lead with those things today. Yeah. Thank you once again, Dr. Aisha. Anything else?
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Anybody else want to ask question or share their thoughts or views?
Hello, sir. I have a question.
Yes, please go ahead.
Actually, as Miss Aisha ma'am spoke about, juniors being very arrogant or in a different way to the leaders, not giving them their right place or respect which they deserve. But most of the time in a corporate setup, I would say, or in any of the setups which where I have seen, or maybe in the mindsets will be different. But I'll just try to put it in a simple terms, where seniors try to bully the juniors, and also they are not given the right activities or what they have been hired for. They feel that they are in a subordinate place. They have just come there to help and do the clerical work, whereas juniors will be in a position to learn, and they want to showcase their skills and whatever they are good at, and they feel that they are not being given that opportunities, and that's where this kind of the cross war, I can say, starts between seniors and juniors, where they're trying to prove themselves, whereas it has to be from a senior mind perspective also, that they need to be acceptive and allowing the juniors and giving them their freedom to rule certain things, or take the responsibility where they feel that they are also being uh, given the responsibility and they are capable of it, and giving them the opportunity to showcase their skills, whereas seniors in a upper position leading them, not from the scratch, but guiding them. I guess this kind of setup is more environment friendly, and it is a win-win situation to both the parties. I want you to showcase some light on this kind of scenarios where juniors feel this way, and also the scenario which Aisha ma'am spoke about.
Okay. Saida, can I know about your present role and your position, whatsoever can I know about it? Are you in a corporate?
Yes, sir. I work with State Street. It's a bank. I'm senior associate there.
Okay, great. So you see, eventually, you have to win over the situation. Today, the corporate leaders are also. I come from a hierarchical system where the people had to be served. You had to say sir before everything or after everything even. So that time is different in different environments. Today in corporate, especially, I remember my daughter joining the company. So when she joined the company, it was a rule that the head of the organization need not have to be served after this thing. So if his name is Sumit, for example, everybody will call him Sumit. He may be 15 to 20 years elder. This is the present scenario of corporate. So this is how they connect actually. They want to be one of you, but all the same, I could never find that Mr. Sumit was ever allowing his position to be diluted also. He would have his own position. The very fact that in the organization and in the hierarchy, he's got a special office, he's got a limousine, or he's got a special car, or he's got different benefits to travel also, and he also owns the company for that matter. So if his position gets identified by number of other things also, and also gets identified by the mechanism that others have to listen to him. It is not, the lower people who are seeing it, they are also seeing that there is a hierarchy, there is a group of people between the lowest or and the middle this thing and the higher hierarchy. So they are also seeing that the chain is also reacting to responding to some sister, some person with a particular position. So the authority comes with position also. Now, but today, yes, the leaders have by default taken to this situation that they say, okay, it doesn't matter. We will encourage the ideas. So they do some brainstorming sessions in which all the ideas are shared. They do certain activities like they'll say, okay, we want to have this thing, corporate ideas. So they have done a very unique thing. Okay, Friday is the corporate idea day. So reward for the best idea. Okay. So they do some activities, and by that they become make the people participative. These are only things which you can do but telling just a person today that I am the leader, I am the leader, it will not work. You have to work out the methods by which they become participative and they also see your position. By this, by the way, the leader is also getting an opportunity to tell the people that look, it is difficult to sit in my position also. It is difficult when you have to take a decision. Since there is a situation of decision taking, today many people also say, don't come to my office with a problem. Are you here with a solution or a problem? This was written in one of the company's bosses, which I was also working on. So he would only say that come to me with the solution. I have the power of giving you saying yes or no, and my power is final. It is the veto power which I enjoy. He would share that also, but he was as a human being. He is today also. He is very well connected even to the lowest staff. He meets them, he smiles with them, he goes around with them, he sits with them, he celebrates everybody's birthday. He makes sure that all those things are sent on birthdays and cakes are cut for people. He makes sure that methods of association as a human being. If a human being comes with a problem, that I have some problem in my house, can I get some money well in time or before time maybe? So he will even try to help this thing. He also does things like taking educational, all the 4 5 lower level class 4 employees, which we call their students, their children. He's doing those things also. But when it comes to decision, he takes a decision which he feels is right, and which he feels his experience has also said that this is right. Okay. So these are some practical things which I am sharing. One has to evolve his own situations, evaluate his own, and try to see, what best he can make out. There is no one solution to every problem here also. Okay. So I've tried to answer this, Saida. I hope some learning is there here.
So I agree to your point. And as I said, like obviously at the higher level, the expertise and the experience which the leaders have, it has to be acknowledged, and they should be there, and that's where the newcomers or the new joiners down the line, they gain the experience, and then they can in the time they go there and they get these leadership skills. But my only question was like accepting which happens from the leadership level to the new joiners as well, and division of work, and also giving the ownership of the work to make the youngsters more involved and
Yes,
to get their
participate.
yeah. Thank you
Yeah.
so much, sir.
Okay. Right. Welcome, please. Yes, please.
Anybody else wants to ask question, or we can wind up? Sir, I guess like everybody has understood the topic very well, alhamdulillah. So
Yeah.
I think nobody has question. So we'll wind up with few words. Is it okay?
Yeah, please. Nothing else from my side. Please go ahead.
Okay, sir. So on behalf of our team, I express my sincere gratitude to you, sir, for lending out your precious time. It was way beyond fantabulous, and it was like very well explained. Like it was in the need of the hour. So, lastly but not the least, your tips was cherry on the cake. And in today's scenario, it's a booming topic, and we are fortunate enough to know about authenticity in depth, and it has been a great insight, a great influence, a great impact on us, and it has been a great integrity exercise and self-check. So we are indebted to your words and gracious presence. Also, sir, I would like to express a vote of thanks to Dr. Halima ma'am, Sana ma'am, Aisha ma'am, Dr. Nara ma'am, Modinat ma'am, Sister Khadija, Sister Neha, Sister Ruhi, Sister Sadika, for who have been a comradely of amazing audience and patient leaders. Thank you. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much, Fatma, for having conducted it so well. Also, I'll appreciate your conductor as much. And thanks all the audience, because you've been very participative through the evening, and I enjoyed interacting with you as much. Thank you so much. God bless.
Thank you, sir. Same here for us.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Your topic is really helpful, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Bye-bye, everyone. Bye. Good night.
Good night, sir.
Bye, sir. Good night.
Night all. Thank you.